Welcome to First the Facts. And before we proceed, I want you to have a keen look at this guy.
Sisi tunataka tushukuru rais amefungua State House for the first time in 60 years. Watu ya mkutupu wamekanyaga State House.
Once again, the loose tongue of the Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has sprinted ahead of his wisdom, wild and untamed. And this time, it did not just embarrass him, it embarrassed the very idea of leadership in this country.
If Professor Kithure Kindiki can become a Minister of Interior and also become the Deputy President, he can do it because now the minister in charge is busy with social media.
Somewhere in the Rift Valley, at a gathering where respect and decorum should have been the guest of honor, Cherargei stood tall, chest out, grinning, to congratulate Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu and Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni.
Any busybodies, activists who go to other countries to cause problems should be dealt in those countries through the legal procedures and law that are there within those jurisdictions.
And for what achievement? For locking up and torturing people who dared to speak the truth to power. He said it proudly, loudly, without shame, that those who speak should first of all be squeezed, wafinywe, wakiwa nje, and then be brought back to the country, wamaliziwe. Listen to him.
I want to ask President Museveni and President Samia Suluhu Hassan, if you get any busybodies activists who want to destabilize the sovereignty and the peace and tranquility of your country, finya hawa, warudishe nyumbani tuwamalizie.
You know, a lawyer's words, a senator's words, a Kenyan leader applauding pain. This is a shame. And meanwhile, two of our very own Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyoo were screaming in silence. 38 days. 38 days without a word to their families. 38 days of families not knowing if they were waiting for survivors or bodies. And Museveni on his side, he laughed. They were kept in a fridge. That's what he said. You can listen to him.
Of course, with our very good intelligence system, we picked them up. And they have been in the fridge for some days.
You know, he said a fridge as if these human beings were nothing more than just slabs of meat. And Cherargei, he smiled and he clapped. He found humor where we found horror. He turned Kenya's pain into a meme and found politics where there should have been a prayer.
And you say, rudisha hawa nyumbani, tutawamalizia, is to take good care of them.
You know, lawyer Nelson Harvey called him Omwiyambi.
You know, where I come from, the king and the chief is not permitted to fart. In the likely event that he farts, there is always a gentleman by the name Omwiyambi, the king's exhauster, who takes responsibility and liability for the king's fart. That is the misfortunate title that Cherargei has been given in the king's court.
Just a mouthpiece of someone else's stomach, speaking not from conviction, but from digestion. Or maybe he was simply both loud, smelly, and unavoidable. Because tell me, what kind of a leader claps for torture? What kind of a senator betrays his own legislation?
There is nothing I will apologize for, because the clarity of mind I have is very clear.
And let's not forget, this is the same man pushing to extend leaders' terms to 7 years.
It is important that I have heard Kenyans, others are proposing 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. I'm proposing 7 years.
7 years. 7 at a time when Kenyans are tired, hungry, and frustrated. He wants to stretch our suffering, to stretch our pain.
Kama hii miaka 2 kielekea miaka 3 tunaona ni kama ni miaka 100. Tumechoka. Sasa ndio tutachoka ache miaka 7. We Cherargei.
Senator, your tongue is not a weapon. It's a wound. Every reckless word stains the flag you swore to protect. Leadership is not noise. Patriotism is not an applause for pain. We don't need leaders who laugh at suffering. We need leaders who speak when others are silent. Leaders who know what the rule of law is, and it's not optional, it is sacred. So before your next rally, Cherargei, before your next thunderous outburst, or before your tongue escapes your mouth, before your wisdom as well, before your next insult to reason, look into the mirror. Senator, stare past the noise and the slogans and ask yourself, did law teach me to lead or mock the wounded? Did I swear to defend justice or laugh at the broken pieces of my people? Kenya has no room left for leaders who confuse cruelty for courage. Now, first the facts here, Samson Cherargei, reminds me of what Kipchumba Murkomen called you, that he was your teacher and you were a below-average student. I sign that and give Kipchumba Murkomen 100%, maybe 101. That's first the facts. My name is Herman Kamariki, and Cherargei, you have become the very sound Kenya must silence.